Thank you so much for having me here at GUILDit, and thank you to all of you for being here today to support the arts in Kansas City. It's wonderful to be in our beautiful and inspiring Kemper Museum. My first gallery show, I've been working full-time in the arts since 1993 for 26 years, and I studied fine art and art history at UMKC. My first gallery show was a solo exhibition in 2011. This show of paintings was an exploration of our natural world combined with my studies in art history and interest in religious shrines and architecture. This painting, The Summery East, was chosen by Jerry Saltz of New York Magazine for the River Market Regional in 2013. In 2014, Antonio Bastrom from the Nelson Atkins Museum selected Blue Black Forest for the River Market Regional. In 2016, this painting, The Search, was chosen by the Associate Curator of Islamic Art at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York for an international show of Islamic art and culture in Dallas, Texas. My process is unique. I'm an experimenter in life in general, and I really enjoy coming up with all kinds of ways to create colors, forms, and textures in my work. I paint on the floor, and I do various things such as pressing my paintings into panels like a wax palette of random color, or letting pools of paint sit for weeks, creating colors and random textures. These chance processes create a groundwork for me to use my skills later to manipulate my findings into works of art which echo the patterns I see in nature. This is a photo of Lake Superior that I took on a trip, and then a painting I did afterwards. This is just mud and ice that I observed outside of my studio one day, and a painting I did later. This is a large rock on the shore of Oregon, and I painted kind of this monolith, later echoing what I had seen. My work has resonated with many people who maybe value the spiritual, contemplative nature of my paintings and sculptures. Through my gallery shows, social media presence, recognition from curators, and various films and articles published about my work, I've built a growing group of collectors and many enthusiastic fans. They're so great. I have a hefty group of people who come to all of my shows. I think I differ in many ways from other artists because of my background. After I graduated in painting and drawing, I certainly was not ready to work as just a fine artist. I taught myself all areas of digital, commercial, and industrial art and design, and built a career to support myself in the arts. This 18 years of experience included trips across the world to oversee production of my various projects. For example, I've worked with a ceramics factory and printing press in China. In addition, I'm finishing a graduate degree in art history and have developed art and art history classes for the Nelson Atkins Museum for over 10 years. I have an all-around education, and I know how to write. My business challenges include the question of pricing. Frankly, my galleries price my work quite high, and I have many people say, "I love your work, but I just can't afford it." And I tell them, "Don't worry, I understand. I can't afford it either." So I need to be able to broaden my base of buyers by offering work they can afford without conflicting with my very good and loyal gallery representation. Another challenge is keeping a more steady stream of income throughout the year. My shows usually produce a lot of income, and my commissions and such fill in many of the gaps. I am starting to teach art and art history classes from my studio this year, which I expanded, and teaching is one of my great joys and best skills, and I think it will also help create a more steady income for me. Continued marketing and exposure beyond Facebook is a challenge. Facebook takes up valuable time. I also think Facebook isn't as effective anymore. Having to write down my goals was interesting. She wanted 5-year goals. Most of us artists are just trying to survive this month. So I would like to buy a building to work and teach out of. As an artist, I not only want to continue to build my own career, but I want to be able to help others build theirs. I think having my own larger space would allow me to build a business where I can hire other artists and students to work with me. I do want to have my work represented in at least 2 museums in 5 years, and I also want to publish a book of my paintings and writings. Needs. I have a lot of things I need. I need continued exposure for my art and now my art and art history classes. Shipping work out of town is a huge obstacle. I have a lot of people on Facebook who want to buy my paintings. Many of them want large paintings, and shipping large paintings is expensive and very, very time consuming. I might have to learn to build crates. I need help with this. I also need more help with framing. I started using cradled panels and canvases which don't require frames, but I love beautiful frames. My gallery and framer, Tim Ward, at Ward & Ward in Brookside is fantastic. I frame my paintings there when my clients can afford gorgeous custom frames, but it continues to be an issue. I so appreciate the chance to meet you and talk with you today, and thank you again for having me.
Thank you, Nina.
Do I stay up here?
You stay up there, okay. Yes. So now we're going to open the floor for questions, comments. Go over here first.
What does your gallery say about your pricing and how they could help you hit some happy place that they could sell your work, at their prices? Or do you have that discussion?
Well, I really haven't had that exact discussion. We talk about pricing at my gallery, and that's really just specifically with my gallery. I do sell my paintings at certain prices at my gallery, and I really can't sell them differently on my own, but I kind of need to have, I do all kinds of work, and I think I kind of need to be able to expand to be able to sell my work to collectors who can't afford to buy a great big, very expensive painting. I think it's an issue a lot of artists have. We want to sell our work to more people and be able to make more people happy collecting our work. And there's just, there's always kind of this problem of pricing and what you're offering to people. Does that answer your question?
Sort of. I'm just wondering if your gallery has offered any input, like a direction on that. But if you haven't brought it up, then it's
I will bring it up. Yes.
Related to that, do you sell from your studio? And if you do you sell at a different price, a more affordable price? Because that's always an issue too.
No, I do. I started selling from my studio a little bit more this last year, and I really was focused more on selling small paintings. And no, I really can't sell. I really can't be selling my work at my gallery and sell them for less, and that is a conflict with my fantastic gallery. He supports me. And it's important, my gallery representation. And so this is where I thought about doing prints and things that are not available at my gallery shows that I can sell from my studio, things like that. I do want to be able to sell my original paintings as well. And yeah, it's a quandary. But I really kind of can't really undercut my gallery. I think a lot of artists have this kind of, this problem. Or maybe we shouldn't think of it as a problem, but an obstacle that we need to get over. Yes?
What about Giclées, one-of-a-kind prints? You would be able to sell for
less, but they would still be one of a kind.
I think that's a really, really good idea, and I do enjoy making kind of one-of-a-kind prints, and it's just something I really hadn't focused on much, but yes, it's a very good thought.
Other questions?
Can you talk a little bit more about your education side and like how your students find you and what you do with them? And I'm just curious to hear a little bit more about that.
My degree is in fine art, and I also have working on finishing my graduate degree in art history. And I do, my education work kind of started with the Nelson Atkins. I started coming up with kind of unique ideas for classes over there. And then I also worked for 6 years in my son's Montessori school teaching children. And I really just truly enjoy it, and I know that you teach as well. It's almost a bipolar thing. I love teaching so much, I thought, my gosh, maybe I should do a lot more of that. But I think the working in the studio is really important, and being a good teacher and being able to teach kind of can help my studio work as well. So finding students, it's really mostly been, my classes are published in the Nelson Art Gallery.
Okay.
You know, I've done it for the museum for a long time, and I just got a bigger gallery, or a bigger studio, much larger studio and kind of gallery, where I can now teach classes on my own, and I'm really excited about it. I still will probably teach maybe one class at the Nelson a year, but I want to bring it in and do whatever I want with my classes, but they are going to be art and art history. How I'm going to find my students, I have some ideas. I have people I know and kind of groups that I'm going to contact. I will do a little bit of Facebook.
Would you do a website?
I do have a
You do have a website.
I actually just got a website done this year. It's kind of mostly done. It is live. It's on your handout. And I am going to publicize my classes on my website, and I think I'm going to be able to have people, register for classes on my website.
Yeah,
So-
that's what I would do.
Was there anything else I did?
No, I thought for myself, I present myself as an artist and an educator. I think
Yes.
that poses certain advantages and certain issues.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I'm just curious about how you're doing it.
I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm just thinking, do you really want a building? Or there's all these places I hear about around town that have educational spaces. Is it a benefit to you to have your own building for some reason, or would you rather be portable?
It's a good question. It's a really good question. And I've actually thought about that because I will be teaching at my art studio in the West Bottoms. I thought, well, there are a lot of people out south who would probably love to take an art and art history class, but it is quite a deal to come down, It's also, on the other hand, a really interesting immersive experience in a wonderful place and kind of getting out of your everyday world, and that's kind of part of what I'm doing. So I kind of have to see how it goes. If I can't get enough students to come down to the West Bottoms, I might right now need to start working out of a satellite place, and whether I need to really own a building is a really good question.
And you would be teaching art history with a hands-on component? So you would need a studio-like space, not just...
I do a kind of a slide lecture, and we talk about really intellectual subjects in my classes. It's been something that both children and adults really enjoy. And we talk about our history, and then we do a project that is based on what we've kind of learned in art history. So, thank you. That's a really good question. I'll think about that. Yes?
Well, I was just saying, if you wanted to reach the Johnson County contingent, it might be good for you to reach out to Nicole Emmanuel in Irwin Art House, because they have a great community space there, and they might be interested in having you come teach there and have some workshops. But that way, it's easy for people in Johnson County to get to. And it's a cool community space with studios and artists that are there. It's a vibrant experience. So I think that might be a satellite place for you to consider.
Oh, thank you so much. I know who Nicole is, and I'll contact her. Thank you, yes.
I do know that artists, craftsmen, and supply on Southwest are always looking for someone to instruct there.
What is this?
Artists and craftsmen supplies. Yeah, and they, so you might talk to them as well. Okay.
Of course, I'm there all the time.
Yes,
Really,
yes.
You guys, any artists here, don't use them on Southwest.
They're fabulous.
It's
Yeah.
fascinating art store. Thank you. You're welcome.
And Nina, can we have you flip to your challenges slide?
Sure.
So we can help you with those? And if we have other questions.
I think the marketing aside from Facebook, does anyone have thoughts about this? Because we all know Facebook is a real time sucker, and it can just be, also, I really do think it's decreasing in effectiveness. There's just so much stuff on Facebook, you can barely keep up with all the requests and, all the announcements. At least I can, barely. Yes, Rochelle?
Well, one thing, you said you do have a reasonable audience. Do you connect or collect their contact information for a newsletter?
I just started doing that, and that's it's being able to get back in touch with people has been something I haven't done for years, and I think I have some different thoughts on my website and my classes that's how I'm going to start doing that, so, yeah.
I mean, a newsletter is sort of another time suck, but at the same time, if you're looking to, marketing that aside from Facebook.
Sure, it is a business, and we do have to spend some time on our business, and so, yeah, definitely, yes, Jill.
Yeah, I just got an email yesterday from another artist in town who just launched her new kind of a revamped website. And she did a really cool thing at the end of the website or the contact page. If you wanted to be on her mailing list, you just typed in your contact information, and then it said sign up for the newsletter. So she made it really simple. It took less than 60 seconds. I put in my information, and that's a feature that I don't have on my own website. And I'm thinking the easier you can make it for your audience members, that's another way. And then I really liked your idea of selling prints. I think this is something that commercial galleries are also realizing that they need to do to create an entry-level price for young collectors. So to have a beautiful painting like that is in your gallery price range, and your paintings are large too. They're so beautiful when you see them in person. I think that you can do archival printing and be selling prints for like a $50 price point. Yes. Like what you were saying, where you can mail it to a customer in a tube through the mail. And I like that idea that you had. And then thirdly, there's an artist that many of us know in town named Deborah Smith. And she's just a marketing genius. I mean, she's really creative and innovative in terms of how she spreads the word about her work and her annual sales right out of her studio, and how she creates different price points for different entry-level collectors. So just some thoughts there.
Thank you. I will look at that page on the website. I'll ask you.
Nina, great presentation.
Thank you.
Piggybacking off of Rochelle in the fact of gathering the email contact and doing a newsletter, my recommendation or a thought, something to think about is, because you're challenged with the media and marketing, select a morning. I select Monday mornings from 8 till 11, and that's when I focus on my marketing and everything that I'm going to do. And then throughout the week, I jot down notes for the next week. So then I can come back around and focus on it again. If you're going to use a newsletter, that's a great opportunity to talk about whatever you have coming up, not only that week or that month, but in future, so people can tag the dates. And then the last thing is, I I still use Facebook a lot. I get a lot of traffic through Facebook because that's where I started, but I've switched over to doing a lot through Instagram. So you can post on Instagram and it posts on Facebook at the same time. So you're not looking at, having to go to both of those things. But again, for opportunity-wise and marketing, I would just utilize your time. Do a pie slice of your day and your time and your week and find that opportune time when you're just right on spot.
Very good advice.
Other questions?
To carry on with what Risa said, and also Rochelle, your email data collection and the woman in the back is your pot of gold, right? Facebook could disappear, so could Instagram, so could everything. Right. Collecting that data is so critical, and you can use that in ways that allow you to expand your audience by finding lookalikes through Facebook, people who look like who your current customers are based on the email database that you have. Spending some time, as Risa does, on Monday morning and just focusing on that. You can utilize different software. Buffer has a free software where you can upload it and have it post for you automatically. Knowing who it's called Buffer, and there's a free portion of it. It only allows you a certain number of social platforms, 3. But it allows you to upload your information, and then it'll either email you or text you and say it's time for you to post your Instagram post, or it will allow you to post directly to a Facebook account. So, and that's kind of handy if you're on the run. And then I think you get a video of this, so I think you'll get it. And the other is just knowing who your audience is. I heard you say Facebook isn't working for you so well. I know
it's working wonderfully.
Right.
I just know for myself, I get so many invitations and things on Facebook.
Right.
I think if I'm starting to get inundated, I know all the other people that I talk to are.
Right. It's just really, it's something that is, there's 2 billion people utilizing it. I don't think it's going to go away right away, but it's a matter of trying to manage it, but understanding it absolutely can pull you away from other things that are important for you. And knowing who your audience is there on Facebook will be helpful for you as you continue to try and drive new people in. And sorry I'm hogging this. The other thing was the photographers utilized, I'm not going to pronounce it right, but the Giclée, how do you pronounce it? Prints? Giclée, thank you. I've seen some photographers utilize it, so there's only a certain number, only 50, for example, and as the number gets smaller and smaller, the price goes up, and that might help you with your steady stream of income. Just a thought.
Thank you.
Other questions, comments?
Suzanne?
So on more steady streams of income, you can definitely work with financial advisors and such to help you manage to get to divvy out your income over the 12 months. But also a good trick I found was just when you get that big check, pay a couple months ahead on bills. That will reduce, again, to your interest rate and increase your credit score. So it really helps when you get that big check just to pay down the bills, and that way you don't have to worry about it in the upcoming months to come, because you'll have a smaller amount. So, yeah.
Other questions? I have one comment. Have you ever tried an intern from a college or high school?
I haven't yet, but I think that this coming year, especially with my doing classes and things, I have something. In the past, I thought, I'm not sure an intern would appreciate what they would learn from me at this point in the way that I work. But yeah, I think that an intern would be a good thing at this point.
It would be a great thing because they can come in and help you with social media. One of my interns is here today in the audience, and she does social media. She's right over here. There's Brooke. Yeah, so that might be able to help you in the future.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions?
I just had one more quick thought.
I really like your Facebook posts, the art historical ones. Like that you write something, it's the right length. I always read those. So I don't know. I would think more about those and how those could serve you even better. I think they're working great. But yeah, I just think that's a great way to pull people in. I always read them when I see one. Yeah, they are. So.
Okay, so our one last question for you is, how can we help you grow your business in 2019?
Gosh, well, I'd like to get everyone's email. So yeah, I mean, it's really helpful whether or not you are a patron or whatever. You're someone who is part of the base of support for us artists, and everyone knows people, and so that I think that thank you for your attention or support that you give me on my social media. I would appreciate it if you're not on my Instagram or my Facebook, if you'll friend me on that. And again, if there's anything else that after hearing my presentation or knowing what I do, if things come up later, if something occurs to you or something helpful, also if there's something I can do for you, please